Welcome back, everybody. 7 minutes for seniors. This is our fifth and final segment. If you haven't seen the other segments, go back and check them out. Make sure you follow Rummies and Yummies on social media. Make sure you go to the bottom and subscribe. If you're liking the content, make sure you make a comment. I get all kinds of comments about all kinds of things that my guests say, sometimes the things that I say. You never know. Leave a comment. I'll leave a comment back, and we'll have a conversation. So fifth segment is our final segment.
Okay.
The final segment is all about the future. Okay.
I can see the future.
So if I could introduce you to anybody, living or dead, fictional, non-fictional, whatever, anybody, I wiggle my nose and make it happen. Who are they?
You just blew my brain apart. There are so many people.
Nobody's going to feel slighted for being left out. Who's the first person that comes to your mind?
George Washington.
Why?
Because I want to know how it felt to go from one extreme to the other and to create our nation.
Okay. So multiple people in the past have said one of our former presidents. Okay. So I always like to ask this follow-up question. Do you go back and meet with George Washington in the past, or do you bring George Washington forward to the present, to our present?
I would go back in the past. History major here. I would want to be absorbed into that time frame and actually see what I studied for so long. I don't think taking a historical figure and bringing them fast forward and flashing them into the current situation, I think that would be information overload. Mm-hmm. How would you feel if you were brought into 300 or 400 years into the future and everything had changed?
Everything's different.
I mean, can you imagine? I use George Washington as my example. Okay, you went from having wood teeth to now look at what is out here. If we flashed him alive and said, "Whoo, look, you're going to come alive right here at the bakery right this second," and he took just a spin around, nothing is as it was whenever he was alive. Nothing. I think that's too much for the human brain to absorb and for me to try and get him to understand and talk to.
But it'd be easier for you to go back.
It would be easier for me to go back because I've already studied that time frame and I have an appreciation of what he went through.
Which, I mean, going back in time, essentially, besides some of the social things and not having access to your phone and stuff like that, essentially it's like going out to the middle of the woods, right? I mean, it's something that we can closely approximate.
I'm from the west side, dude. Your points?
The woods. All right, so you go back in time.
I do have the ability to come back home, right?
You do get to come back. You're going to bounce back and forth.
Yeah, because I don't want to hang out there.
We're like Bill and Ted's. We're going to bounce back.
Yeah, there's no Coke Zero back in the historical aspect, so I would not do good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did use cocaine for different medicinal purposes back then. They already knew about cocaine back then, and they were already using it.
That I've never done a legal drug in my life, and yes, I know that's shocking, but that might be something to sample.
So
scary.
So you go back in time, you meet with George Washington. What's the one question you're going to ask him? Because now you've negated the ability for him to see what's going on in the future. So what's the one question you're going to ask him that's not going to confuse him?
That's not going to confuse him.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you're asking him about something in the present right now.
Oh, no, I would ask him, again, what did it feel like going from just your existing positions and having Pledge of Allegiance to, all of this stuff, and then trying to change over and starting up our nation, and you're going through all of the different wars and everything, and getting to the point where we have a constitution. How does it feel to have seen all of that change in your lifetime?
That's cool. All right.
So I would want to go to where he was older, obviously. Right. I'd want to go to the late 1700s, early 18.
When he's retired and he's retrospecting on his life.
Right. I would want to go talk to him then.
Okay. So speaking of his retirement, let's talk about your retirement. Where are you, first of all, where are you in 5 years? Where's Rummies and Yummies in 5 years?
Well, if we're still doing okay, we're hopefully still here. But if we're not doing better and doing good, then in 5 years, I'm not doing this. I'm back in the corporate world training.
Okay. What does, since that's I don't want to speak anything into existence, knock on wood, that's not the case. But so what does retirement look like for you?
That is a good
that's
question.
20 years away, 25
that
years
is
away.
definitely
What does
far
retirement look
away.
like?
Retirement for me, I would love to be able to mimic my mom and go on cruises. To be able to just enjoy and relax and not work so many hours. That's
Yeah.
it. I want to be able to enjoy life a
Still
little bit
living in
more.
this area?
I don't know. I'm from Jacksonville. My husband's from Jacksonville, but I've lived in Orlando. I've lived in Tallahassee. I've lived in Phoenix, and I've traveled all over the U.S. with my jobs. However, my husband's only lived here in Jacksonville, and he's like, we can move, right? We can move. So I have a feeling that if that was an opportunity that was to show up, we might move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowhere cold though. Nowhere cold.
Oh.
I don't want to see ice and snow. It's beautiful when it first lands, and then by the next day, I'm good. I'm done. So
I watch holiday movies to remind me of
yeah,
what snow looks like. I grew up in the snow. I don't need anything to do with it anymore.
I used to work for Sears out of Hoffman Estates in Chicago. So I spent 4 winters in Chicago, and they all laughed at me when I went out and saw my car covered in snow. I'm like, there's a problem.
Yep.
I'm good. So no,
you
I need
to
to
shovel
stay.
snow in order to be able to get into your car.
That is not normal. That is not acceptable
No.
behavior. No,
we don't have to shovel the rain off of our car. We don't have to do any of that to get into our cars.
Yes, no, I am not moving north. So south. Stay in the southern areas. I'd probably go out. I might even go back out to Phoenix. I would go that way, or South Florida.
Drier heat, better for the arthritis and everything.
Yeah. Yep. I might try that.
Awesome. Well, this has been our 5th segment of 7 Minutes for Seniors. Make sure you all come out on December 7th from 9:30 to 11:30 here at Rummies and Yummies on Wells Road for our Senior Care Roundtable. Share with your friends and neighbors and family. 4 seconds left. Nailed it. That's awesome. Make sure you share with everybody in the community. Let people know that there are resources out here. There's an opportunity for people to come and interact with the resources. If you need to reach out to Amy or her contact information is coming up next. Make sure you go and check all of that out. Thank you very much for being on the show, the program, whatever we want to call this. Y'all have a great day and be safe. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.